The garage door creaked open just as Alex's lips met mine, the world freezing in that stolen moment under the dim fluorescent light. My stepfather, Tom, stood there with a toolbox in hand, his face twisting from surprise to fury in an instant, the kind of rage that promised to unravel everything I'd hidden for years. "What the hell is this?" he bellowed, dropping the tools with a clatter that echoed like the end of my carefully constructed life. I bolted upright, heart pounding, as Tom's voice cut through the air like a knife. Alex pulled away, his eyes wide with panic, but there was no time to explain or hide. Tom stormed forward, his work boots thudding against the concrete floor, and grabbed my arm with a grip that bruised. "Ethan, explain yourself right now," he demanded, his breath hot and laced with the scent of coffee from his late-night shift. I stammered, words failing me, while Alex muttered apologies and backed toward the side door, slipping out into the night like a shadow. That was the night everything changed in our quiet suburban home in suburban Chicago. I'd been seeing Alex for 6 months, sneaking around because I knew my family wouldn't understand. Mom had remarried Tom when I was 15, after Dad left us for good. Tom was the steady type, blue-collar mechanic, church-going on Sundays, always preaching about traditional values at the dinner table. He treated me like his own son, teaching me to fix cars and throwing baseballs in the backyard. But beneath that fatherly facade, I sensed his rigid worldview, the one that viewed anything outside the norm as a threat. By morning, the house was a powder keg. Mom sat at the kitchen table, her eyes red from crying, clutching a mug of tea that had gone cold. Tom paced the linoleum floor, his voice low but venomous. "I raised you better than this, Ethan. This lifestyle is not right. What would your real father say?" His words stung, dredging up old wounds. I was 22, fresh out of community college, working at a local bookstore while figuring out my life. Coming out wasn't part of the plan, not yet. But now, forced into the open, I had no choice but to defend myself. "I love him, Tom. It's not a choice," I said, my voice trembling but firm. Mom looked between us, torn. She loved Tom for bringing stability back into our lives, but I was her only child. "Honey, we just want what's best for you," she whispered, but her tone betrayed uncertainty. Tom slammed his fist on the counter. "Best? This will ruin him. The neighbors, the church. What will they think?" That was the crux of it. Appearances. In our tight-knit community, where everyone knew everyone's business, being gay wasn't just personal. It was a scandal. The days that followed were a blur of arguments and silences. Alex texted me constantly, worried, but I told him to lay low. I couldn't risk more confrontations. At work, I shelved books mechanically, my mind replaying the scene in the garage. Why hadn't I locked the door? Why did I think I could keep this secret forever? Deep down, I knew the answer: fear. Fear of losing my family, of being cast out like some biblical pariah. Tom started attending extra church meetings, coming home with pamphlets about conversion therapy that he left on my bed. "It's for your own good," he'd say, his eyes pleading rather than angry now. But I saw the manipulation, the way he framed it as love when it felt like control. One evening, after a particularly heated dinner where Tom quoted Bible verses and Mom nodded along weakly, I retreated to my room. Staring at the ceiling, I wrestled with my options. Run away with Alex? That meant abandoning Mom, who relied on me emotionally since Dad's departure. Fight back? But how, when every word escalated the tension? The internal conflict gnawed at me, loyalty to family versus authenticity to self. I picked up my phone and called Alex, whispering into the receiver about my turmoil. "We can make it work," he assured me, but his voice cracked with doubt. The first real betrayal came subtly. Tom began inviting Pastor Reynolds over for family talks. The pastor, a kindly man in his 60s with a gentle smile, sat in our living room and spoke of sin and redemption. "God loves you, Ethan, but this path leads to suffering," he said, his words wrapping around me like chains. Mom urged me to listen, her hand on my knee. I nodded politely, but inside, rage simmered. How dare they decide my soul's fate? That night, I snuck out to meet Alex at a park bench, where we held hands under the stars. They're trying to change me, I confessed. Alex hugged me tight. Don't let them. But even as he said it, I felt the weight of the choices ahead, each one a potential fracture in the life I'd known. As the weeks dragged on, the pressure mounted. Tom cut off my access to the family car, claiming it was for reflection time. Mom stopped asking about my day, her avoidance a silent wound. At the bookstore, coworkers noticed my distraction, but I brushed it off. Internally, I debated the morality of it all. Was loving Alex wrong if it hurt my family? Society's whispers echoed in my mind. The slurs I'd heard at school, the news stories of disowned kids. Yet, in quiet moments, I recalled the joy Alex brought, the way his laugh lit up my world. The conflict tore at me, forcing me to question everything. One afternoon, while sorting inventory, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number. Meet me at the coffee shop downtown. Important. Curiosity won over caution. There, waiting in a corner booth, was my biological father, whom I hadn't seen in 7 years. He looked older, grayer, but his eyes held the same sharpness. Tom called me, he said without preamble. Told me about you. My stomach dropped. The man who'd abandoned us was now involved? He thought I should know, Dad continued, sipping his coffee. Said you're going through a phase. Phase? The word ignited fury. Why do you care now? I shot back. He leaned in. Because blood is blood. And Tom? He's not your real dad. Maybe it's time you came to live with me in California. Start fresh. The offer hung in the air like a lifeline or a trap. Leaving meant escaping Tom's judgment but betraying Mom again. Dad painted a picture of acceptance, but I remembered his own homophobic rants from childhood. Was this genuine or just another manipulation? As I walked home, the city's bustle faded into white noise, my mind a storm of decisions. That night I confronted Tom. You called my dad? Behind my back. He didn't deny it. I did it for the family, Ethan. To save you. Save me? Felt like a declaration of war. The betrayal cut deep, eroding the father-son bond we'd built. In that moment, I realized the price of silence. My own erosion. The revelation of Tom's call to my dad ignited a firestorm in our home. Mom stood in the living room, arms crossed, as I laid out the accusation. Is it true? I demanded. Tom sighed, rubbing his temples. Yes, but only because I care. Your father's influence might help. Mom's face paled. She hadn't known. You went behind my back too? She whispered, her voice breaking. For the first time, cracks appeared in their united front. Tom reached for her, but she pulled away. This is about Ethan, not us, he insisted, but the damage was done. That night, the house echoed with muffled arguments from their bedroom, words like trust and overstepping seeping through the walls. I seized the opportunity to push back. The next day, I met Alex at his apartment, a small one-bedroom in the city where he worked as a graphic designer. Things are falling apart, I told him, collapsing onto his couch. He wrapped his arms around me, his touch a rare comfort. Maybe it's time to tell them everything. About us, about how real this is. But fear held me back. What if it pushed Mom over the edge? Alex suggested couples counseling, but in our conservative suburb, that meant church-based sessions which circled back to conversion rhetoric. Meanwhile, Dad's offer loomed. He called daily, his voice smoother than I remembered. California's progressive Ethan. No judgments here. But his motives felt suspect. Why now, after years of absence? I dug into old memories. His affairs that broke our family, his disdain for weakness. Was he truly accepting, or using this to spite Tom? The moral quandary twisted my gut. Accepting his help meant forgiving abandonment, a steep price for freedom. At work, the tension spilled over. My boss, noticing my errors, pulled me aside. Everything okay at home? I hesitated, then confided vaguely. She nodded sympathetically. Family can be tough, but living a lie? That's tougher. Her words resonated, planting seeds of resolve. That evening, I attended a local LGBTQ support group Alex recommended, held in a community center downtown. Strangers shared stories of rejection and resilience, their voices a balm. One man, in his 40s, spoke of losing his family but gaining self-worth. "The price is high, but authenticity is priceless," he said. I left inspired yet terrified. Back home, the confrontations escalated. Tom cornered me in the kitchen one morning. "I've signed you up for a retreat with Pastor Reynolds. It'll help sort this out." Retreat? It sounded like indoctrination. "I'm not going," I declared. His face hardened. "Then maybe you shouldn't stay here." The ultimatum hung heavy. Mom overheard, bursting into tears. "Please, both of you stop." But Tom stood firm, forcing a choice. Conform or leave. The betrayal deepened. My stepfather, once a pillar, now an adversary. In desperation, I turned to Alex for solace. We spent a weekend at his place, away from the chaos. There, amid quiet conversations, I opened up about my fears. What if I lose them forever? Alex listened, then shared his own story, coming out to his liberal parents who embraced him. "Not everyone's that lucky," he admitted. "But hiding? It eats you alive." His words fueled my decision. On Sunday night, I returned home ready to negotiate. But fate intervened cruelly. As I entered, I found Mom packing a suitcase. "I'm going to stay with my sister for a bit," she said, eyes avoiding mine. "This fighting, it's too much." Tom's meddling had fractured our family further. "This is your fault," I accused him. He shook his head. "No, it's yours for not trying to change." The words landed like blows. Alone in my room, I weighed the costs. Staying meant suppression, leaving meant isolation. The internal storm raged, each option laced with pain. Dad's calls intensified. "Come out here. I'll help you get on your feet." Tempting, but accepting meant endorsing his past sins. I researched online, reading forums about estranged families and queer acceptance. Stories of reconciliation gave hope, but tales of permanent rifts warned of reality. At the support group the following week, I shared my dilemma. "Follow your heart," an elder advised. "But know the price." The turning point came via an unexpected ally. My aunt, Mom's sister, called after Mom arrived at her house. "She's devastated, Ethan. But she loves you. Give her time." Her words offered a glimmer. I decided to write Mom a letter, pouring out my soul. The years of hiding, the love for Alex, the hurt from Tom's actions. "I can't change who I am," I wrote, "but I don't want to lose you." Sending it felt like a gamble, the price my vulnerability. Tom's response was colder. He began limiting household interactions, treating me like a tenant. The silence was deafening, amplifying my isolation. Alex urged patience, but doubt crept in. Was our relationship worth this destruction? The moral debates intensified. Duty to family versus personal happiness. Society's lens magnified it. News of anti-LGBT bills in other states reminded me of broader prejudices. One night, unable to sleep, I confronted Tom in the garage, the site of our unraveling. "Why can't you accept me?" I asked. He paused, tools in hand. "Because I see you as my son, and sons don't do that." His vulnerability surprised me, revealing his own fears rooted in upbringing. For a moment, empathy flickered, but his refusal to budge reignited anger. The conversation ended in stalemate, each of us paying the price of stubbornness. Mom's absence stretched into weeks, her occasional texts polite but distant. The house felt like a ghost town, with Tom and I orbiting each other like wary strangers. He buried himself in work, coming home late, while I threw myself into the bookstore, stacking shelves as if order there could fix the chaos at home. Alex became my anchor, our dates stolen moments of normalcy amid the storm. But even those were tainted. I constantly glanced over my shoulder, paranoid about being seen. Dad's persistence paid off in a way I hadn't anticipated. He sent a plane ticket via email, One way to LAX. No strings. The gesture forced a reckoning. Accepting meant escape, but at what cost? Betraying Mom, who was already hurting, or staying, enduring Tom's pressure? The ethical tightrope was razor thin. I confided in Alex during a walk in the park. If I go, will you come with me? He hesitated. My life's here, job, friends. But for you? Maybe. His uncertainty mirrored mine, highlighting the sacrifices love demanded. At the support group, stories of migration for acceptance inspired me. One young man recounted fleeing the Midwest for San Francisco, finding community but missing family. The trade-off is real, he said. Loneliness versus freedom. His words echoed as I pondered. Meanwhile, Tom's actions grew more overt. He invited church friends over, their conversations laced with subtle digs at modern sins. I overheard one say, "Pray for the boy, he's lost." The condescension fueled my resolve. I wouldn't be fixed. Mom finally responded to my letter with a call. I read it, Ethan. It broke my heart. Her voice trembled. I don't understand, but I want to try. Hope surged. She agreed to meet at a neutral cafe. There, over coffee, tears flowed. Tom's influence is strong, she admitted. But you're my son. We hugged, a fragile bridge rebuilt. Yet she pleaded, give him time. He's scared. Scared? Of what? Losing control. The conversation ended with promises, but no resolutions. Emboldened, I confronted Tom again. Mom's trying. Why can't you? He sighed, sitting at the table. Because I've seen what this does to families. My brother, he was like you. Died alone. Rejected. The confession stunned me. Tom had a gay brother? He chose that path and it destroyed him. Tom continued, voice cracking. I won't let that happen to you. Suddenly, his bigotry revealed roots in trauma, not just hate. Empathy clashed with anger, the price of understanding his pain while enduring mine. But revelation bred complication. Knowing his backstory, I questioned my judgments. Was pushing back cruel? Yet, excusing his actions meant self-betrayal. The internal war peaked. Alex noticed my withdrawal. You're pulling away, he accused during dinner at his place. Is this too much? Honesty compelled me. Sometimes, yes. Hurt flashed in his eyes, the first crack in our bond. Love's cost was mounting, forcing choices between relationships. Society's pressures amplified everything. At work, a customer ranted about gay agendas in schools. Unaware of my orientation, I bit my tongue, the silence a small death. Online, I found forums debating family versus identity, opinions divided. Some advocated cutting ties. Others preached forgiveness. The cacophony mirrored my turmoil. Dad's ticket expired and used, but he didn't relent. Offer stands, he texted. Temptation lingered, especially after another clash with Tom. He found a pride pin in my room, tossing it away. Not under my roof. The line drawn, I packed a bag, ready to leave. But Mom's return halted me. She walked in, suitcase in hand, declaring, we're talking this out, as a family. The family meeting was tense. Mom mediated as Tom and I aired grievances. You betrayed me by calling Dad, I said. Tom nodded. I did, but out of love. Love? Twisted, perhaps. Mom shared her fears, losing me like she lost Dad. Vulnerability flowed, but no apologies came. We adjourned unresolved, the air thick with unspoken trades. In the aftermath, I met Alex, confessing the chaos. I can't drag you through this. He shook his head. We're in it together, but doubt seeded. The next day, at the support group, I learned of resources for family reconciliation. Inspired, I suggested therapy to Mom, secular, not church-based. She agreed, but Tom resisted. No shrinks telling me I'm wrong. His refusal deepened the divide. The high point of tension arrived via betrayal from an unexpected source. Alex, frustrated by my indecision, confided in a mutual friend, who gossiped. Soon, whispers reached the church community. Tom exploded upon hearing. Now everyone's talking, This is what your love brings shame. The accusation stung, especially since it stemmed from Alex's slip. Confronting him, hurt boiled over. You promised discretion. He apologized, but trust fractured. The price? Our relationship stability. The gossip mill churned, turning our private strife public. Neighbors gave sidelong glances. Church members offered prayers with pitying smiles. Tom bore it stoically, but inside he seethed. See what you've done? He accused one evening. I shot back. What we've done? Your intolerance started this. Mom, caught in the crossfire, suggested a truce. No more confrontations, focus on healing. But healing required willingness, and Tom's pride blocked it. Alex and I hit a rough patch. His betrayal, though unintentional, lingered. Dates felt strained, conversations laced with caution. I was venting, he explained. Didn't think it had spread. Understanding clashed with resentment, the moral gray area of trust in crisis. Internally, I debated forgiveness. Hold a grudge and risk losing him, or absolve and invite more hurt. Dad capitalized on the chaos, flying in unannounced. He showed up at the door, charming Mom with apologies for the past. Tom bristled, old rivalries reigniting. Over dinner, a forced affair. Dad steered talk to acceptance. Times change, Tom. Ethan's fine as he is. Tom scoffed. Easy for you to say, absentee. The barbs flew, exposing layers of resentment. I sat silent, realizing Dad's visit was less about me, more about one-upping Tom. The manipulation soured his offer. I rejected it outright. I'm staying to fix this. Dad left disappointed, but his presence catalyzed change. Post-visit, Tom softened marginally. Maybe I overreacted, he muttered one morning. Progress? Or tactic? Mom pushed for family therapy, and surprisingly, Tom agreed, perhaps fearing loss. Our first session was raw. The therapist, a neutral woman in her 50s, probed gently. What do you fear most, Tom? He hesitated. Losing my family. Again. Referencing his brother, tears welled. Vulnerability humanized him, shifting my perspective. My turn. I fear erasure. The session ended with homework, open dialogues. But society intruded. A local news story about a gay teen's suicide hit close, mirroring potential paths. It shook Mom, who hugged me tight. I won't let that be you. Her awakening was a win, but Tom's pace lagged. At work, support came unexpectedly. My boss revealed her son was gay, offering advice. Patience, but boundaries. Bolstered, I set one with Tom. No more pamphlets or retreats. Alex and I worked on rebuilding. A weekend getaway to a cabin upstate provided space. There, amid hikes and fireside talks, we recommitted. No more secrets, he vowed. The trip healed wounds, but upon return, reality bit. Tom, learning of it, commented snidely. Running away won't solve anything. The jab reignited tension, testing our fragile peace. The ultimate test came at a family gathering, Aunt's birthday. Relatives whispered, judgments palpable. Tom defended me subtly, deflecting a cousin's homophobic joke. Enough, he said firmly. Shock rippled. Was this growth? Later, he admitted, therapy's helping. The concession cost him pride, but paid in restored respect. Yet not all was smooth. Alex faced his own pressures. His family, though accepting, worried about the drama. Is Ethan worth it? His sister asked. He affirmed, but the question lingered, highlighting sacrifices. Internally, I grappled with guilt, my turmoil spilling onto him. As therapy progressed, breakthroughs emerged. Tom shared his brother's story fully. He'd been disowned, leading to depression and death. I blamed his orientation, not the hate. The admission was cathartic, fostering empathy. I shared my journey. Hiding since teens, the joy Alex brought. Mom mediated, her strength shining. But high drama struck when Tom discovered old letters from his brother, hidden in the attic. Reading them, he broke down, realizing the pain of rejection. I did to you what was done to him. The food for thought led to an apology, halting but sincere. I'm trying, Ethan. The moment was pivotal, the price his ego for reconciliation. With Tom's apology as a foundation, the family began mending. Sessions continued, unpacking layers of hurt. Mom flourished, reading books on LGBTQ allyship. I was blind, she confessed. Tom struggled but committed, attending a PFLAG meeting with reluctance that turned to quiet reflection. Not all bad, he admitted afterward. The shifts were incremental, each a hard-won victory against ingrained biases. Alex integrated slowly. Invited to dinner, he charmed with stories, humanizing our relationship. Tom was civil, asking about his job, small talk, but a start. Post-meal, Tom pulled me aside. He seems decent. High praise from him. But scars remained. Trust rebuilt brick by brick. Society's role evolved too. The gossip faded as we presented a united front. At church, Tom challenged a sermon on traditional marriage, earning stares but respect from progressives. His actions cost friendships, but gained integrity. I volunteered at the support group, paying forward the help received. Yet, challenges persisted. Dad resurfaced via email, bitter about rejection. Your loss. Cutting him out was liberating, the price closure on old wounds. Alex and I faced external prejudices. A rude server at a restaurant, slurs on the street. Each incident tested resilience but strengthened us. The climax built to a family crisis. Mom's health scare. A minor heart episode from stress. In the hospital, we rallied. This family's sticking together, Tom declared, holding her hand. The event crystallized priorities. Love over ideology. Post-recovery, bonds solidified. As months passed, acceptance deepened. Tom joined me at a Pride event, not marching but watching from the sidelines. Eye-opening, he said. The gesture, though small, spoke volumes. Alex and I discussed future, cohabitation, perhaps marriage. Dreams once distant, now tangible. But perfection eluded. Lingering doubts surfaced in quiet moments. Tom's occasional slips, my residual resentment. The journey taught that change demands ongoing effort, the price vigilance. In the end, our story wasn't tidy. Families fractured and reformed, individuals transformed through pain and choice. I looked back at that garage kiss, the spark that ignited it all, grateful for the growth it forced. Was forcing acceptance through confrontation the right path, or should silence have preserved the fragile peace?